Hi, I'm John.
And I'm Andrew.
Hi, I'm Hema.
And today we're going to be showing you some experiments with polarization and charging by rubbing. Because we love physics!
When two objects touch or rub against each other, there is a process of charging by rubbing. Depending on the properties of the material, for this example, a glass rod and silk. The silk will absorb the electrons of the glass rod, leaving this glass rod positively charged.
Okay, so here I have a brush, and we have a metallic balloon. I'm going to brush my hair, and then we're going to move the brush to the balloon to see what happens. And as we see here, the balloon is attracted to the brush. And Andrew will give us an explanation of why this works.
Okay, so before we can explain what's happening, I first have to explain what a conductor is. So a conductor, and in the first example, was a metallic material balloon. In a conductor, you have a surface where it has free electrons that can move freely throughout the body of the conductor, as opposed to a non-conductor surface where the electrons will be bound specifically to an atom and can't move. Here, you have the electrons can move freely. All right, the reason why that happened is because of, as we talked about earlier, the charging by rubbing causes the brush to be positive. Since this is a conductor, because it's a metallic balloon, we have freely moving electrons in the surface of the balloon. So what ends up happening is, as you move the brush towards the balloon, the positive charge of the brush attracts the free electrons moving in the balloon, which causes what's called polarization, which is when all the electrons start to begin to line up, or not all of them, but many of them start to line up on the surface of the balloon, and then they start to attract to each other. Hello, I'm going to be doing another experiment, only this time I'm going to be using a comb as well as John's hair to cause the charging by rubbing effect. And we're going to use this can. Let's watch what happens. And as you can see, the can violently attracts towards the comb.
BC, it was well known that rubbing a piece of amber would cause it to attract dry leaves. Women would unknowingly experiment by rubbing their amber jewelry and touching frogs, causing them to jump. While they did not understand the magnitude of their actions, instead doing this simply for enjoyment, this led to amber, known to the Greeks as electron, becoming the namesake for electricity. Ben Franklin, centuries later, still had no knowledge of protons or electrons to rely upon from the scientific community. He postulated that all substances had an electric fluid, which he related to an electric fire, coursing through them. He believed that rubbing two materials together would cause this fire to flow between them, causing the one that lost its fire to become what we consider negative, and vice versa. He went on to theorize that the greater the disparity in the amount of this fire between two objects, the greater their attraction to each other. These tenets, without knowledge of atomic particles that we have today, are the basis of our understanding of electricity.
And now for our final experiment demonstrating this concept.
As I take the comb, charge it by combing my hair, we'll see what happens.
Wow.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Guys are not supposed to talk.
So the charge of the comb is opposite to the charge of the paper.
That is why it causes an attraction. So that was fun. We learned a lot about polarization.
We also learned a lot about charging by rubbing.
And we did some really cool experiments to show this effect.
But what did we learn in the end?
Dr. Meyer rocks!